welcome to Win, Lose, or Cry, a Maple Leafs podcast. We got some interesting games to talk about this week, and we also got a guest star, our first guest star, Michael Nuttall.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on, guys. Glad to be a part of it finally.
Yeah.
All right.
You may have noticed there is a relation here.
There is.
Little bit.
We're gonna actually
good.
We're gonna find out if they have the same opinions on a couple things, because we got some very opinionated topics to talk about this week. Well, we had 4 games this week. 2 in particular, I think we got to spend a bit more time on. But you know what? The Leafs vs. Wild and the Leafs vs. Capitals, both good wins. Leafs win 3-1 against the Wild. Leafs win 5-3 against Washington. Let's go over those a little quickly. Anything you guys want to take from those 2 games?
I'll jump in first. So, Wild game, fantastic game. End to end, it was a good game. I was very happy with it. The Washington one, not so much. I'm going to say luck had a little bit to do with it. I honestly think for at least the first 2 periods, Capitals outplayed the Leafs. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if you guys saw it, the disallowed goal in the first period. It was... The puck was 5 or 4/5 over the line.
Yeah, that's what you'd say.
And Matthews just got just enough, and Mrazek reached back and grabbed it with his glove. But man, if it was a Leaf shot, I would be pissed about it. It was clearly not fully over the line.
Can we talk about how good Matthews' defensive game has gotten? Like, holy crap!
That one was just one of those. He happened to be standing in the crease for whatever reason, and the puck I forget if it hit Mrazek. It just trickled through, and Mrazek looked back, but luckily Matthews was right there and was able to snag it. But honestly, the Capitals, definitely the first period, Capitals outplayed the Leafs heavily.
Yeah.
Leafs were just able to score. That was the difference. And, I mean, the Capitals goalie got pulled in the first period. Sorry, he got pulled in the first intermission.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Going into intermission.
Yeah, and then, I forget who took over, but, I mean, he saved 17 of 18 shots or something like that. Or 18. Yeah, I think it was 17 of 18 or 16 of 17. Had a fantastic game.
Yeah.
And really gave the team life because they came back from a 3-1 deficit.
Yeah. One thing I got to say, Justin Hall had a good game.
First star of the game.
Yeah. Good for him, man.
First star of the game. But
good for him.
With that being said, I didn't really notice him that much.
Which is what you want That's what you want a defenseman to be. If he's a defensive defenseman.
You know who you noticed that game?
Who?
Tom Wilson.
Yeah.
Did you guys know Tom Wilson can snipe?
Oh, I know.
Yeah, okay, so
what
I want to talk about that. So Engvall gets the phantom tripping call.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that?
Yeah, there was a couple of those calls that are definitely questionable. We're a little bit
in front of the ref, nowhere close to him. Like the stick's over here. Calls the phantom tripping call. You're right there, and that's a bad call because it directly led to a goal. Come on, man.
No, that was rough.
Garbage.
Sure. But there's always been, it seems like, it's always an issue with roughing up. It's never good, but they're not to the same level.
Sorry, Michael. Brandon, you're talking about Wilson's first goal, the power play goal?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about a shorthanded goal.
Oh, the short... Yeah.
He's coming down the wing, right?
Shorthanded of all things. He just snipes this puck, and I'm like, you're an all-star, bro. He's doing what Campbell can't after that all-star game. He's showing his weight. I'm sorry to say it, but I mean, if we look at both his performance and Campbell's post all-star break,
he's been
one's an all-star, one's not. It sounds bad to say, but Wilson had a very good game. I'm pretty sure he was the second star of that game too.
I think you're right. Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, I think he was. He had two of the 3 goals were Wilson.
So probably second.
And then I mean, jumping back to the Wild. So one thing we talked about last week quite a bit, Brandon, was I said I think Mrazek should be playing these next couple games.
And you know what?
And
Based on his stuff, the two good wins that we had this week, both Mrazek.
Were both Mrazek.
Yeah, both him, yeah.
I mean, Mrazek's his stats weren't the best against the Capitals.
No, but game.
But they won the game.
Yeah.
They were able to hold it together, and he had a couple big saves that were important. He had a fantastic game against the Wild. That was honestly a boring game until the Wild scored, and 30 seconds later, Matthews tied it up.
But it was a good game. Like, it was boring, but good with that.
It was what they needed.
And even despite even after those two games, out of the Red Wings game that we're going to get to, out of the 4 goalies that played, he did have the best save percentage of the 4 goalies.
Oh, the Red Wings,
yeah.
Did he have the best?
He had the best save percentage. It was still under 700.
Yeah, and that Wild game, he had what was his saves? It was or his save percentage 967.
Yeah.
Right? And keep in mind that Wild game was right after losing to the Blue Jackets, losing to the Canadiens, losing to the Blues. Mm-hmm. Right? That's 3 losses in a row we're coming off of.
Yeah.
And he throws up a 967 save percentage, and the Leafs absolutely shut down the Wild.
Stops them, gets them. And that was a good game too, right? I know we've mentioned the Detroit game, and I know we'll get there, but this was an exciting game all on its own by being completely different. It was absolutely a strategy first. It was
a
every little play was different. It wasn't just run and gun. It was defensive clinic, first fully and first through, which was good to see someone like Matthews. Obviously, we can see him score and stuff. He's leading the league with his goals, but he was able to show his defensive abilities, right?
Yeah,
which is kind of been nice to see,
especially on his second goal.
Yeah,
literally stripped the puck, waited on that blue line for the team to get offside, jumped over the blue line, passed it, got it back, and scored. That his second goal was 100% all him. Team on his back.
Beautiful.
For sure. That was with the Marner assist, right? The tap in. How he got it over, put it across the right side. Marner passed it across. Yeah. No, you're right for sure. So that shows that he can do that, but he's also turned himself into an elite 2-way player, and that kind of game is where he's learning those abilities and how to be responsible defensively. Because Wild, they've got Kaprizov, which he's a ton of fun, and Fiala. They're both high offense guys, but with Spurgeon and them, their defense overall first team. And he was able to essentially outmaneuver them. Yeah. Now, obviously, it wasn't just Matthews, but it showed
that top line, best line in hockey right now.
Hands down.
In my opinion, best line in hockey right now.
I would say so.
For sure among them.
I think currently, right now, we'll even say of 2022.
I would say of 2022,
best line in the hockey.
This season?
And this season.
Of just 2022.
Actually, you know what? Even
from the past, let's say 2 months or so.
From New Year's Day onward till right now.
Yeah.
So January, February, they have been the top line.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And Matthews is a very, very close first place on that line.
Incredible.
I would say
no. Matthews is the
best
in the league.
Right on his tail.
No,
he is.
Matthews, I would give him. Yeah, he's number 1 on that line, but Marner is right on his tail. The way he's been playing over the last month, he has had an incredible little stretch.
What was it? 23 points in 12 games or 13 games or something like that.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Crazy.
Yeah. He's playing the best hockey of his career. I think. This is the best he's ever played. From what I've seen.
It's crazy how he realized I can shoot the puck. And it turns the whole line it makes everybody in the line better, because now everyone's like, oh crap, Marner might shoot it now. We actually have to defend his shot. That's all they needed to do. Marner, just take a couple of dirty, it doesn't need to be clean.
And it doesn't even need to go in all the time. No. He just needs to be the confidence.
The confidence in the threat. And now that the threat's there, the teams don't know what to do with that line.
Yeah, I think he needs at least one 30-goal season under his belt to be like, I can do this, because he's capable of it. He needs to show it.
What's he at now?
What's that?
What is he at right now?
I don't know. I can pull it up for you.
All right, thank you.
I know he's on a 30-goal pace. I think he was at early in the season, and then he slowed down a bit. but he's picked it back up again more so recently with getting 10 goals in 7 games or something along those lines.
Yeah, something like that.
Right.
Here,
he's got 21 goals in 45 games. So that would be
he can make it.
That would be over a 30 goal pace. He's got they've got 30 games left, just under 30 games left. He can score 10 goals.
He can do it easy.
For sure he can.
Yeah.
And I think he will. But I was saying this to James a couple days ago. I desperately want him to have a good playoffs. Not just because we need to have good playoffs to win,
Confidence.
but he is an incredible player. He's one of the best players that the Leafs will end up ever having. He's a super fun player to watch, but it seems like he gets so much hate that it's gone to the point now where it's he's almost underrated in how good he is.
I agree, but here's the thing. If you ask for $11 million and you don't show up in the playoffs, you're going to get hate.
So here's the thing.
Why didn't Matthews get as much hate? He had one more point, one more goal.
Yeah. And he makes $700,000 more. Also, I've got to read something. I saw something come up. It's a story, and the title. I'll get it back to you guys another time. But the title is Mitch Marner is not overpaid. So you're right. He's making $11 million. He's among the top paid players in the league, but he's also among the top best players in the league. He's potentially our best penalty killer in the league.
Oh,
sorry, not in the league, of course, but
on the team. Yes, absolutely.
David Kampf is unreal because he's got the faceoffs, but Mitch Marner, and he's shown that in the playoffs. I remember in 2019 when he against Boston, he took the 2 pucks right off, blocking the shots late in the third period. He's an unreal defensive player as well, but he doesn't get the credit for it because he's always on the highlight reels for his incredible passes. Yeah. So if he can put together those 30-goal seasons like he does now, and if he can continue that in the playoffs, then I think they'll look at him as a true superstar player.
I hope he comes to the playoffs. I hope all of them do.
Yeah, no, me too. And I hope that because he deserves that recognition, but also because we just need to win one.
Absolutely. So
just one.
So going off the good stuff.
Yeah.
Now, that top line, best top line in hockey, and you know what? It stays true for 3 of the 4 of these games. But even in this game, the Detroit Red Wings game, despite the top line going off, Mitch Marner getting 6 points, 4 goals, his first career hat trick.
Yep.
And they were up 7-2 going into that third period, and they let a 5-goal lead evaporate, winning 10-7 by the skin of their teeth.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
That was I haven't had my heart going like that since playoffs.
So
Holy.
Okay, so there's a lot of things saying that the team is sick, right? And the biggest person, I think, Steve Dangle on his podcast has really been hammering home that the team is ailing of something. We don't know what, right? I'm pretty sure it was the Wild game that someone had to leave the bench with an illness partway through the game, and they played down a forward all game.
Yeah.
During the Detroit game,
Kasha. Yeah.
Kasha had to leave the game.
He was out for the game as well.
Yeah, during the Red Wings game, we saw Nylander leave the bench after scoring.
Yeah.
So, were they being is the team sick? We don't know. There's been no official report that I've seen. However, if they are, that game makes a little more sense.
You know what? It does, but also
you scored 10 goals.
I don't care because 1, you scored 10 goals, and 2, they blew a 5-goal lead, absolutely, but it's not the first time and it's not the last time.
Yeah, it's if it was isolated. If it was isolated,
I understand that. But what if your goaltenders are both sick and it hurts for them to move? No, you can't shake your head. If your goalie, whose job is to stop the puck, can't do what they're meant to do, you can't blame them. Campbell let in. Campbell let in some of the easiest goals I have seen. Some of them were redirects, but his play off the start of that game was garbage.
Yeah,
the first and second goals were absolute terrible.
But if they knew they were that sick going into the game, they should have emergency called up Joseph.
Yeah,
Wood.
if
they could have done that, and they didn't. So they didn't do that, and no matter how sick you are, you went into that game saying you're able to play. Hold yourself accountable. You have to play. If you're sick, you're not going to play as well. But they made that conscious decision to go with it and run it, and they did.
And they won.
And
you're right. They gave up a 5-goal lead in less than 10 minutes.
Yes, they left by
that was
4
the
goals.
most fun. That was the most fun hockey I've ever seen of the Leafs blowing leads. I was losing my mind. It was so much fun.
7-3. I'm like, damn. 7-4. Crap. 7-5. I yelled so loud, my dog was sleeping, and he like shit his pants. Like he got up and ran to the door, freaking out.
Oh yeah, it was.
I think I messaged you guys at that point. I was just like, I'm almost cheering against them just because
maximum chaos.
It's just hysterical that they're able of doing this. Like they're able of the Minnesota game. They were so responsible defensively. Like they were unreal. And then the next game, they're like, maybe not.
Out the window but you know what? Every Detroit game this year
has been crazy.
Has been like that.
Yeah.
Like I want to pull it up here, but like they've all had like a minimum of 10 goals scored.
Yeah.
Like at least. I'm gonna see if I can find it here, because they played a couple times now.
Yeah, and now I know, obviously everything since the Montreal series, everything that they've been doing, we're comparing it to the playoffs, and then rightfully so, because nothing matters at this point as long as they make the playoffs. Everything is focused on the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I don't look at that game though and compare it to them being playoffs, just because that was just a barn burner. Both teams decided, you know what, we're just gonna all offense, see how many goals we can score, and it was just entertaining. I'm not gonna criticize them and their defensive flaws in that game, just because it was
that's fine.
I will one-off.
I'm going to, but not for this game.
That's what I'm saying. In the last 4 games,
I'm talking when we moved to because James, you said you had something before we move on to the Buffalo game.
Well, the only thing I have to say, the first time they met up, 9 goals were scored. The second time they met up, 11 goals were scored, and now 17. They're high scoring teams.
It's fun,
and the goalies just take the night off.
Yeah. Honestly, all four goalies played. 4 goalies played that day.
And they all took the night off.
I believe they were all under 800.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
were they? Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So I want to say 2 or 3 of them were in 700.
No, all under.
Those games are so rare that it's just you can't really critically look at it. It's just like.
I think Mrazek was in the 800s and everyone else was like 780. I think
he let in 1 goal, right?
He did.
Like 9 shots.
He let 1 on 8. I think.
Yeah, I think Campbell was a 760 or 780, and the Detroit goalies were like 760s. But
the best thing of that entire game was Bunting and Marner.
Oh, the copycat. That.
Yeah.
I was talking about the copycat.
No, the copycat. Yeah.
Excellent.
That was so much
love
fun.
it.
It was the last goal of the game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah.
I love it.
It was the 9th goal was shorthanded.
I love it. I love the chemistry between them. I love it. I love that's a thing now.
8th goal was shorthanded, Michael.
Was it 8th? Okay.
The game winner was shorthanded.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but it was the 9th and 10th. It was right at the end there, and it was the exact same goal that happened like a week ago that we just seen.
Which was awesome, and this one was awesome.
Is it just something they practice in practice now?
It's the fact that it wasn't the same as last time, though.
No, very similar.
Right? Like, Marner gave it to Bunting.
Yeah, it was the same idea.
It was the same flipper. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, it was fantastic.
Love it.
Yeah, and you know what? Seeing a play like that, one thing from Marner doing it, like I said, I'm high on Marner. I can see Marner doing something like that because he's that creative kind of player. But to see Bunting do that shows how much confidence he's growing in himself and in that lineup, which is helping, honestly, I think, his confidence and their confidence in him for them to be able to dominate at such a high level.
Well, they should be confident because as of the Washington game, Bunting has 19 goals, leading all rookies in scoring.
Yeah, he's
one above Raymond.
Yeah. He's the most questionable rookie ever, but
hey, he's a rookie. Technically, he's a rookie.
I don't know.
All right.
He won't.
You know what? He would not be a rookie if last season was more than 56 games.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He's only a rookie because it was a shortened season. If you look at a regular season, he played close to 50% of the games last year, which means in a regular season, he'd be between 30 and 40 games, not making him a rookie. However, with it being a shortened season, that's the only reason
he made the cutoff.
He is technically a rookie. No. You can't play 45% of a season and be deemed a rookie still.
Yeah.
Well,
he's also 20, he's also like his birthday is also 2 weeks off of the cutoff for him not being even age eligible. Right? Like there's a few things that set him up to be so close. So because of that, I think he doesn't win the Calder even if he is the best rookie this year. Because I think it's kind of an asterisk with him.
Too many things saying you're not a rookie, bro.
But no, not the rule book, though.
You know what? It doesn't matter.
Also,
he just needs to play like this in the playoffs.
Also, Raymond and Sider on Detroit.
Yeah.
Both absolutely incredible rookies.
Yeah.
They are having
the
he is what the Leafs need.
Yeah.
He is exactly. He's big. He's mean. He's a rookie, and he's not afraid to throw hits on any player.
Did you see earlier in the season Moritz Seider going up and taking the puck from a Tampa player, like during warm-ups? Like he just took the puck from a Tampa player during the warm-ups. That Tampa player was Victor Hedman. He just skated by Victor Hedman, took the puck from Victor Hedman, who Victor Hedman just kind of like playing around and just took it from him. And he's what, 19 years old, I think? Like for 19 or maybe 20, like for someone that young in your first season, in the first half of your first season, to walk up and be like, look, see Victor Hedman, the best defenseman in the league right now, and be like, you know what, that's my puck.
That's mine now. Sorry about that.
Yeah, like it's just he's going to be like a Shea Weber kind of thing.
He's gonna be incredible. He's 20 years old. He's born in 2001.
Wow. Oh God, I'm old.
20 years old, born 2001. He is 207 pounds, and I don't know his height. 6'3", I think.
Yeah. So he's gonna fill out as well, though.
Oh my goodness! Wait till he hits 220. He's already bullying people on the blue line.
Yeah.
Just wait till he gets a little bit bigger.
He was drafted.
He is gonna be a dominant player.
Oh yeah.
He was drafted. What year was that? He was 6th overall. 2019.
Yeah, 6th overall in 2019.
I remember because that was I think that was Yzerman's first year of being with Detroit, maybe the second.
He came
in. What?
He did a good job.
Yeah, well, he came in and he drafted him 6th overall, and I remember everyone was kind of being like, "That's a questionable pick for the 6th overall," like because Moritz Seider wasn't that big of a name at the time. Like he wasn't really projected to be top 10. And they brought him in, and they're like, and he's just like he's probably gonna win the Calder. He's an unreal player, and he's going to be, I think, for his career, he'll be one of the top defensemen.
Yeah, well, I'm just running through the other names that are kind of in the first round of that draft, and the only ones that really jump off the page are you have Cole Caulfield at 15th, Spencer Knight at 13th, and Trevor Zegras at 9th. Other than that, I mean, Mort Seider right now is a very good pick.
Yeah.
It's not like they missed on someone who just blew up out of. I mean, Zegras, yes, but I mean, you could argue Seider in his first season is just as dominant.
Yeah, he is, and he could and the fact that he's a defenseman, right? Because it typically takes defensemen longer to develop and stuff, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I don't know. I love him. He'll be a player for sure that I watch.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna get us back on track for a second, guys. Got one more game, and we talked about the Detroit game, and we're saying in a vacuum, you call it a barn burner, you burn the tape, whatever. But with the Leafs, it's not in a vacuum because we can see 2 games later.
Yeah.
The last night's game against Buffalo was, if the Detroit game was one of the most, even with all the goals being against and how crazy it was, Buffalo, I was just miserable from start to finish. Out the gate.
Some would say it was abysmal.
Some Some would say it was abysmal.
Sheldon Keefe, that's how he described it, right? Terrible from start to finish. Offensively, we were abysmal. After scoring 15 goals in the last 2 games, they put up one
against Buffalo.
40-year-old Craig Anderson in net. 1 goal is all they can put up.
Like we don't have to talk about the game too much. You guys I'm just gonna go over it briefly. I watched the game last night with my dad.
Yeah.
They looked terrible from start to finish. Sandin got a goal, and that was the only good thing he did all. He looked lost. I watched the whole thing. He looked lost, and I know he's on a new pairing, but he was missing passes. One of the goals was directly Riley passed to him. He fumbled the puck. Guy got a breakaway and scored. It was kind of a weak goal. It was kind of a weak shot, went in, but whatever. But it still missed the puck, lost it.
The only thing I'm going to say to that pairing is I'm glad they tried it.
I'm glad they tried it. It's good time to experiment. You're ahead, right? You're safely
not
in a
only
spot.
ahead. We're 3 weeks out of the trade deadline, and we need another left D.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, not left D, right D.
Right D, yeah.
Yes. But what I'm saying...
Why not take a team like Buffalo, who we should be able to beat? Why not take a team like Buffalo and test out Sandin on the right side?
Yeah.
In my opinion, Sheldon Keefe did the right thing by trying him out there and trying out that line in this game.
Yeah.
Right? Trying that lineup in the Capitals game, dumb. Right? But in the against Buffalo or against the next game, Canucks or Seattle, it makes sense to try these out. I kind of hope he tries it for one more game.
Yeah.
Just because look at Lyubushkin's first game with us. It was garbage.
But there's a difference there. Lyubushkin didn't know the system.
Huge difference. I'm not comparing 1-to-1, right? But I'm saying is a 1-game trial is not enough.
Yeah.
Right? Look at how Mrazek's played in the past week, putting up 3 out of 4 wins. And his first game was Ottawa. He got pulled in the second period.
Yeah. I'm just saying from this game. I mean, the whole team played like ass, but he looked completely lost. He was choking up the puck a lot in his own end. He looked like he might as well have done a spin deke in his own end at that point. He was terrible with the puck.
Don't get me on that one.
But
bad. Of Travis Dermott.
But you know what I mean? He was fumbling it in his own end a lot. The one goal directly his fault from not getting the pass from Riley correctly.
Yeah.
He looked bad. Mrazek looked bad. Everyone looked bad. But what I want to focus on, another thing, Toronto's let in 20 goals in the last 5 games. We may have a goaltending issue going to this trade deadline, which we did not think we had.
I don't know if we do,
Michael,
honestly, that much.
Both of our goalies since the Christmas break are under 900.
Yes.
You don't.
Yeah, no, listen, it hasn't been good, and I know it hasn't been good.
You don't win the playoffs with goalies under 900. League average is 917, I believe it is this year.
Yeah, right around there. But I think it's maybe a little less now.
It might be less now, but still, it's over 900.
Do you think this is what Campbell is, or do you think he's playing worse than what he is?
I don't know. I think he's playing worse than what he is. But
no, I think you at the beginning of the season, the first quarter of the season, you were pretty high on Jack Campbell.
Everybody was.
Exactly, that's my point, though. So I don't know if this is him, and I don't think this is him.
No.
I think he's not as good as what he was to start the season, because to start the season he was a 930, 940.
939.
I expect him to regress.
That's
I expect him to regress. I didn't expect him to plummet, and I don't think anyone did.
You're right, but I think what's happened is he'll bring it. I have confidence in him, and I've talked to James. I can talk about this. I'm not high on the team going to the playoffs. I'm really not. But Campbell, I don't like. He might not be good enough for the Leafs, but he's much better than this.
Yes,
he's for sure much.
I agree, but here's the issue: trade deadline is in less than a month. If you pass the trade, what is it? The 15th or something
March
like that.
March 19th.
No, it's March 23rd, I believe.
23rd. Okay.
March 23rd.
Okay.
I still say they can't do anything without signing him. I don't think.
Because here's the thing: if you say I'm hoping he goes back to the average, and you have essentially 3 weeks, less than that. Say you have 2 weeks to kind of figure this out. If he keeps playing like this for 2 weeks, you have if they're both under 900, you have no choice but to get a goalie.
Yes, you don't have a choice. But then you also have to look at that. What is the market? And the only goalie really on the market is Fleury. Well, there's Marc-Andre Fleury.
And everyone's calling about. There's like 14 teams that won Marc-Andre Fleury who have more prospects. There's no way we're getting him.
I think you have to go with Campbell going into the playoffs. Campbell and Mraz.
I think you have to go with
one of them will step up for the rest of the season.
I think you're right, and you have to get a defenseman.
Yeah, I think that's their biggest problem.
That is, you don't get not a bargain defenseman. No, you go out and you sign a defenseman because this team's defense is abysmal.
Yeah, I am, you know this. I am Timothy Liljegren's #1 fan. I love that man. He is I love him on the team. I think he's going to be a great fit for Toronto. But if he is in your top 4 going to the playoffs, you're going to have a bad time.
He is not the solution to our problem.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I think he will be. Honestly, I think in 2 years it will be him and Sandin running probably the top pair. But he's not there yet, and so if he's in our top 4, I think we're
in trouble.
Not
we're in trouble right now.
Regardless of what team we play.
Okay. I said this earlier. He's the best 7th you can have.
Yeah.
That's my honest opinion. He will fill in as a 6th. You cannot have him in your starting.
See, I think he is good enough to be in your starting 6, but I think he's got to be your bottom pair guy.
He is
good. He is good. He's all around good. He still makes some mistakes where you kind of have to shelter him, but I think he's good enough, and he's
here's my thing though.
Capable enough of playing limited minutes.
Realistically, because we're talking purely playoffs here, you're playing Tampa or you're playing Florida in the first round.
Yeah.
You can't shelter somebody on the third line. And even if you do, that means you're putting more stress on the first 2 lines. Sandin has less than 100 games played. He's also not a proven defenseman.
Yeah.
He's incredible season. He is the player that stood out the most to me on this team this year that I've been very happy to see. But you cannot shelter Sandin. And even if we do have him in the top, as our 6th man on the bottom pair, you're going to need the start of the season Campbell out of him, right? He's going to have to play his best hockey 7 games in a row.
Yeah, but
if he has an off night, we're in trouble.
Yeah, I think they need to make that decision with him soon, though, because if not, they need to commit to him to play him every game the rest of the way, or they got to find that fix. Because right now I'm looking at it, realistically, their top 6, their defense will be probably Riley Brody.
Yep.
Solid.
Muzzin.
No.
I'm not sure who. I want to get back to that. Well, my guess Muzzin will be back.
Why no, Brandon?
Because he's not
That's my
available.
guess. We'll get him in a minute. This is playoffs.
Out.
Game 1 playoffs.
Okay.
If he's he's second spot. And then third line is Sandin with Lyubushkin or Liljegren.
So
get rid of Dermott. I never want to see Dermott play.
So you're saying getting another defense?
Do you? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
You send Hall into the sun.
Mort Sider? Anybody?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
They're selling.
Yeah, I would.
Do you put Hall above Dermott? Really?
Yeah. I don't ever want to see Dermott play another game.
Hall again.
I both player. I mean, I put Dermott slightly above Hall.
So
Dermott kind of. I kind of see Dermott as like a Jake Gardner, where he's pretty. He's solid as a. You don't see him defensive guy until he screws up, and then he screws up.
Yeah, but at least Gardner was able to put up 50 points in a
game. That's 51 points.
You know what I mean?
Dermott will never do that.
No. I'm saying he's a Gardner Gardner type, as in the mistake
so you're Gardner thing. Without the points,
yeah.
So which means you're just friggin' bad. Brandon, he
Hall
did a
is worse.
Spinorama in his own end.
Dude, Michael, I am not defending that man. He is terrible. I'm just saying, Hall, I think, is worse.
I think I'm not high on Hall either. I love the guy, but I don't think he's the same issue. I don't think he should be in the lineup in the playoffs.
Hall is also worse than Dermott.
Is what?
He's worse than Dermott.
He might be, but he's also shown that he can be good enough.
He's had one good game.
Well, last year he was, but
last year does not count.
Hall's best season was last year.
Yes.
And Hall's best season was better than any other season Dermott's ever had.
Yes.
And Dermott's been in the league longer than Hall.
But
Dermott's not. They're both non-options.
No.
But I think Hall's less of a non-option than Dermott. Because at least Hall's bigger than Dermott.
He doesn't use his size, though.
But you're right. So I don't think any
that's like saying Freddy the Goat's big. He doesn't use it.
They're both pylons.
Yeah.
Unless injuries come up, I don't think either of those two play a single game for the Leafs.
The fact that Liljegren sits while they play doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't. No. But they're doing that, I think, cap reasons.
This is Hall's third real season in the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Third.
But he's also like 29. So he's not really 30. Yeah, so he's not 30. Like he is who he is now.
Yeah. Crap.
Yeah, like this. Yeah, this is all you're getting out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree. Like they're both not good enough. They need someone else.
He has been a consistent plus player though, pretty much his entire career.
Hall. So he's played on a very good team. He's playing on a top 5 team in the league probably though.
Yeah, but he played. You know what? His best season ever. He's technically played 5 seasons in the NHL.
Yeah.
I mean, one season it was only 2 games, but he put up 2 goals in those 2 games, and he was a +5. So you should ride 2017, 2018 to the end.
That was on what's his face Babcock is coaching.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Before we move on, I just want to leave us with a quote from Sheldon Keefe. And it's.
Oh, I have many.
Okay, you know what? Let's go over the quotes. Because you mentioned the one about the terrible start to finish. Mine, which I find is the worst one and the most damning, is Keefe on if this game should act like a wake-up call, like the one against Montreal last month. You guys remember about it's a wake-up call.
Yeah.
Well, this is more of a reflection on our competitiveness as a team, individually, collectively. Montreal was far different. Does that just not he's not defending this team anymore for he always he tries to sugarcoat them a lot. That was just no, they played like crap. Their competitiveness is coming into question, and we've been putting that into question when they do that. They used to do especially previous to this year, they did it a lot where they just did not show up to games. Less so this year. But it still happens.
2 games left.
So the full quote to that, Brandon, was he was asked is this a wake-up call? He said the team has to be past that. This is different. In Montreal, there was no attention to detail. There was odd man rushes, 2-on-1s, breakaways, and all of that. That was not going on in the game today. There was no real urgency and competitiveness. And then he continues on to the rest of what you said.
Yeah.
But what he does say, he starts off his post-game interview by saying, Morgan Rielly described the game as disappointing. And he said, I would say the same. Our team has been playing well. We've had every reason to believe our team was ready to play today. Fans are back. We're back home. We should have had confidence in the way we played, the way we've been playing as late. Not good from the start. I like how we defended in the first period. I thought we did a good job of that. But offensively, in terms of how we played the puck, we were really careless. And then he continues to say that the team was abysmal, all 4 lines, everyone.
Controversial opinion. Would the Leafs play better without fans? Because it seems the second they got fans, they decided to play one of their worst games of the season.
No.
Nope, because when they went 16 games and 18 games they had fans in the stadium.
Full fans though, but I don't know, man.
They had full fans.
It's
oh yeah, that's
games
right.
Games like Buffalo though is just it's It's in their DNA. I don't know how to describe it.
It destroys fans.
That you lose to the worst teams.
That's the best way to say it. Is the team is this? The team is playing Tampa or Florida in the first round of the playoff.
No.
Say Boston. I could see Boston somehow getting in there because Toronto could come first. They could finish first.
There is a potential for another Leafs Boston series.
I hope.
I don't.
But that's for another time.
You know what? I don't care. Leafs Boston, Leafs Tampa, Leafs Florida.
Yeah.
I honestly think the Leafs Boston is the worst thing because we see on paper they're great, but they are soft when it comes. I would rather
take over Boston.
I wouldn't. I think if they play Boston, they lose immediately because they have zero.
And you think they're gonna walk over Tampa?
No. All three of them suck. But I'm saying the Leafs' weakest point is their mindset. They have a weak mindset. If they lived in the Star Wars universe, Jedi mind tricks were worked on them by the weakest Jedi.
Skill versus skill, what? They will destroy Boston.
What?
Versus the other two teams.
I completely understand what you're saying, but the team you're comparing them against is the current 2-time reigning Stanley Cup champion. With all of their best players still in the team.
I am not saying I want to play...
Boston is not the same team that they were in 2019.
Guys, I am not saying I want to play Tampa. I very, very, very do not want to play Tampa.
Yeah.
I'm saying...
I get what you're saying, but logically, and I know you can't really think logically with the Leafs, but I would absolutely... They need to beat the Demons. They need to.
Yeah.
And it's part of their story. I think I would rather than play Boston one because Boston's the worst out of those three teams.
Absolutely,
they need to get over that. They need to get over that hump.
They're absolutely the worst out of those teams.
Will they get over that hump? No idea.
My worry is if they play Boston, what beats them every year is their competitiveness and their mindset. Every year, they don't get. It's not like they're the worst team every single year. They were the first couple. They were the better team last year. They were the better team in Columbus. Arguably the better team last time they played Boston.
Yeah.
But what beats them every single time is they just forget how to hockey.
Have a game or two, yeah.
They just forget how to hockey. You're up
just to bring.
You're up 3.
Just to bring up that. Go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead.
I was gonna say. I was just continuing my point. You're up 3-1 against Montreal in the series, and I forgot how to hockey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, well, sorry.
It was actually Game 5. They were gonna win. They made a comeback. They're in the overtime, and then Dermott. Those little spin around.
Why'd you press left trigger?
Don't forget. Okay, we all let this go under the radar. Galchenyuk.
Oh God.
Also.
Yeah, he's not still playing on the team.
Yeah.
No, he's in Arizona in front of 3,200 fans. With Shane Wright.
James, that's if it's sold out. They're not going to make it sold out.
I don't
know.
My God.
You know what? I can see Brad Marchand buying all the tickets for the entire season. just sells out the arena himself. Could you imagine that? No one's in the fans. No one's in the stands. He's like, I got all the tickets.
No, there'll be one person. There's going to be one person there, the biggest fan, Gary Bettman.
Yeah.
Gary Bettman is the biggest Arizona fan of all time.
We chose the right city.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I can go to a game and I can take night courses. This is great.
Yeah. It's actually online schooling, Arizona State University.
So there's no fans.
You can do it online. I know there is in school. But yes, Arizona is known. You can do it.
So are there actually going to be people in the stands? You notice it's not seats; it's the benches. It's like
Is it really?
Yeah, it's like solid bench things.
Who knows?
I think they're fixing it, right?
They're going to change it.
It's supposed to be retrofitted.
So are there going to be students there, half paying attention to the game, the other half doing work on laptops?
Well, it's probably going to be pretty expensive, right?
The problem is how expensive
they have to try to make up their money somehow.
So then, what are they going to? They're not making up their money. It is a loss. Gary Bettman is just like, no, I'm keeping this team here. I don't care if I make zero money. I don't care if I hemorrhage all the money. Don't care.
And that's where you need the big players, like your owners of the Maple Leafs, of New York, Montreal. Like you need your big players to step up and say like this is unacceptable.
They should.
Like we are a professional hockey league. We have professional sports teams. This is not professional. This is bringing the entire league down. Like it's a joke that you're playing in front of less than 5,000 people.
I think that's going to get brought up when they start having games there and teams go there and you're at a university, so you're gonna have
the conversation started, this should have been brought up.
They should have been brought up once and never again. It should have been like, well, we have to move the team. The second, we didn't pay the bills and we had to play at a university. You move the team. Yes. It's not. It doesn't work.
So I was listening to this a few weeks ago now when they were really talking about it was in the news cycle all the time. I think it was on the 32 Thoughts podcast. Friedman was talking about exactly this because 3,200 fans is a joke. Nothing. Like I lived in North Bay of 50,000 people. They house more fans than that. Mm-hmm. Like it's just so because of that, a lot of apparently executives and stuff like that and members of the teams were complaining about it because one, you have to pay into escrow, which means that with the money revenue sharing, but there's no way Arizona tries to at least recover any money. So because of that, the rest of the teams are going to pay. They're going to have to pay for them to be in this arena.
Yeah.
And the players will lose out. Will have to pay out of the escrow because of how much Arizona's going to lose. So they've already talked about it. Other teams have already complained like this isn't right because we're going to have to pay for them to do this. And apparently, from what I remember and from what they'd said was Bettman is essentially like, well, too bad. We're going to do it. They're going to do it. So they've talked about that. It's not right because other teams have to pay for it, but he's said that we're going to do it regardless. So they're gonna play there. If he wants them to play there, they're going to play there.
How long is Bettman?
Wait till the next deal comes in.
How long does Bettman stay as commissioner?
Until Bettman decides he's not going to stay.
Yeah.
It's Bettman's call. It's for sure Bettman will stay until Bettman wants to stay, until he's done.
They're not going to boot him, I don't think.
No. Well, no, because he's not necessarily good for hockey. He's not liked by fans, but he needs to be liked by 32 people, and those 32 people are the people that employ him.
And it seems like they're starting to get angry with him.
Well,
what?
even
then,
it's not 32.
No.
You hear them talk, and it's more like 10.
Yeah, there's 10
it's
head
like the inner circle, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's probably
the ones that really, the owner of Arizona doesn't have nearly as much say as, the owners
Are you sure?
Toronto or Montreal. No, that's just...
Does he have something on him? Did Gary Bettman, go into a strip club or something and doesn't want his wife to know about it?
Sometimes when people are very smart and very successful, the one thing that they cannot do is admit that they're wrong. And Gary Bettman will not admit that he's wrong. And if they fooled Arizona, that is him admitting that he was wrong.
Do you remember earlier this year, I believe in the summertime, he said a team in Quebec City would fail and that's why they won't do it?
Yeah.
But
that's because he hates northern teams.
He will let Arizona have no fans hemorrhage all the money and still be like, no, this is better.
Yeah.
This is much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Okay, I just want to summarize. I know we jumped off a lot, but I want to summarize just overall the Buffalo game. Obviously, it was a mess. But I realized a couple weeks ago that I don't really care how they play the rest of the way. And I said this to James, that they could win 25 of the last 30, but the games like Buffalo or the games like that they played against Montreal a few weeks ago where they lost 5-2, those are the games that you can't see because that shows that they still have the capability of either blowing leads or essentially giving up.
It's not even blowing leads. Yeah. It's all teams blow leads. It's a complete shutdown.
That's a great way of saying it. It's just like they just stop. Yeah. It's like their effort
they stop playing.
They can't maintain an effort through every game all season.
Yeah.
And I remember last season.
Sorry, I was going to say, that kind of game is going to happen. Game 5 of the playoffs when the Leafs are up 3-1 in the series.
Yeah.
And Game 5 is going to come, and they're going to be like, oh, we got this. And all of a sudden, now the series is 3-2, and then Montreal all over again, Boston all over again.
I remember during the regular season last year, there's 2 games that stood out. One was obviously the Ottawa one, if you guys remember that. Early in the season, Leafs were up, I think it was like 5-1 or something like that.
Yeah.
Ottawa, who finished last in their division, came back and won. I think they won 6-5 and over.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was a rough one. And I was like, oh my goodness, here we go. But that was early in the season. Kind of got over a little bit. The second one, though, was against Vancouver.
It was the 2 back-to-back, right?
Yeah. So if you remember, I think Dangle mentioned it a few times that it was like he was super upset about it. Well, they were off for almost a month because of COVID. Because remember, this was right in the heat of it. They came back and they beat Toronto. And I remember when they beat Toronto, that was the game that I was like,
they're not winning.
They had to win that. They had all the reasons in the world to win that game. They didn't, and because of that, and from that moment on, I was like, they could dominate the rest of the way, but they still have it in them. And this last game with Buffalo, the game against Ottawa a couple weeks ago, shows it's still in them, and they're not going to get rid of that in the next 30 games.
And I've been saying all season, Michael, you and I had an argument with this a couple weeks ago, like when we weren't on here, because you're like, oh, you're not. You don't want them to win. Why do you call yourself a Leafs fan? It's like, I am, but exactly that. Because they have it in them to lose games, they should, by every strand of the imagination, win, and they just find a way to lose.
Yeah.
And they keep doing it. You don't have a team, they're a Stanley Cup favorite, and then you lose 5-1 to Buffalo, and it's not Buffalo had a great game. It's they just didn't play. Because every phenomenal team. Yeah, and every phenomenal team. We talked about this earlier. Arizona's going to squeak out a win against Tampa once in a while. It happens.
Yeah.
But Tampa plays the whole game.
Yeah.
With the Leafs. A lucky bounce happens. They have a good shift, a power play goal, right? A miscommunication. The Leafs just decide sometimes, I don't want to play. I don't feel like playing hockey tonight, and that is what ultimately is going to cost them from winning a cup. I don't see them getting 16 wins in a row without having one of these kinds of games.
Yeah, no, they for sure.
They will have one. They're not going to win 16 in a row.
16.
But
you know what I mean.
That was the point I was trying to make earlier in the season when they lost to Arizona. They lost 2-1 to Arizona, and you were hearing nothing about it because they lost to Arizona.
Yeah.
It was a 2-1 game.
And you know what?
Where they almost doubled the shots.
Yes.
That game,
they outplayed.
I fought tooth and nail with you to say that was a well-played game.
Yeah.
I am not going to have that same fight about the Montreal or Buffalo game.
No.
Because they are two... Yes, you lost to a bad team, but they are different games.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is...
One you deserve to lose, one was a well-fought game.
Yeah. And you know what? If you have a well-fought game and you lose, it happens. It's a game. You're playing with professional athletes. If you're a professional and you just don't show up consistently, it's not like we were saying the Detroit game. In a vacuum, you throw away the tape. This is a consistent thing with this team, and they keep doing it. This year, they keep doing it.
Yeah.
Less so than previous years.
Last year, no.
But it's still in them. They've shown that it's still in them. So here's the thing. I've said this to you guys before, and this is the thing that's so frustrating about the Leafs, is I could see them obviously losing to Boston, Tampa, or Florida. Mm-hmm. Most likely Tampa, Florida is the ones that will play. I can see them losing them. But honestly and truly, I can also see them beating both of those teams. I see a world truly where they beat those teams. You guys obviously know this, but for anyone that doesn't know this, I'm a teacher, right? The most frustrating students aren't the ones that suck, that are annoying, that always speak up. The most frustrating students are the ones that have the highest potential, but never reach it. Because they just never work for it. And that's exactly what the Leafs is. That's what's so frustrating about them, is they have, like, Mitch Marner honestly could be a top 10 player in the league. I think Matthews is a top 3 right now, potentially even all season. He'll be the best player in the league. Like, they have the capabilities, but they're like, teams don't beat them in series, they beat themselves.
They beat themselves. They
lose.
And it's that's why I'm saying it doesn't matter what they do. If they pick up a defenseman, if they pick up, like, they should pick up a defenseman, but it doesn't really matter. That one player doesn't make that difference. They need to get over whatever's in their head, and that's what it's going to be. And I think if they do that in the playoffs, and if they beat their first round, that is what it will take. But they need to get there. If they beat the first round, I could see them winning.
Yeah, get it.
It's as simple.
Well, so not necessarily, because you look at the standing. Let's say first round they play Panthers.
Oh,
okay.
Right. Second round, who do you play? Tampa.
Yeah. But I think,
let's say you beat Tampa, then you're moving on to the Hurricanes. Okay.
Oh, I think they can beat them.
You beat the Hurricanes. Don't worry, you only have the Avalanche to play, or the Flames. It's a cakewalk to the finish.
But I can. If they win the first round, that doesn't mean the cup is theirs. But if they win in the first round, I think they will believe they can then beat any team. They can beat any team.
Their chances of winning
go up,
skyrocket.
Yeah.
Right? It's getting, and that's the thing is realistically the Maple Leafs could go into game 1, series 1, and beat the Florida Panthers in a 5-game series and beat them 4-1.
Yeah.
Then they could go into round 2 and get swept 4-0 by the Boston Bruins.
Yeah. Yeah, they could.
That is a completely real possibility that we could see.
But at least they'll win a round.
At least they'll win a round and Dubas saves his job.
Yeah, I honestly,
they made it.
And I said it last week too. I'm starting to think. I mean, other than Dubas signing the big guys, like, I think most of those contracts suck. But
we know.
I mean, they do. But
no, I disagree.
The contracts suck.
Like Tavares' contract.
Dubas' contract.
The beginning, like the last couple years, last year, other than Richie, like his offseason was amazing.
You can't pick on 2 or 3 contracts and say his contract signing sucked. You have to look at every contract he's signed.
All of them.
John Tavares, overpaid. Matthews, not enough years. Marner, overpaid. Nylander, pretty good.
Good.
Nick Ritchie, overpaid. Mrazek.
Matthews, hold on a second. You can't tell me that Matthews' contract is not a good contract.
You only get him for what other first round drafted guy is signed by their team for 5 years?
A guy who refuses to sign longer than 5
Then
years.
why is he getting 11.5? That's unheard of.
The difference with Matthews, though,
you're saying, like, that's pretty much you're worth more than McDavid at that point, because it's based on.
But Matthews believes that. So here's the thing: that's not because of Dubas. That's Matthews. You can tell Matthews, like, before he got drafted, he played in Zurich. Matthews, and you can tell by the way he acts, by the way he carries himself, by the way he plays, he thinks and acts like he is the best, and he is going to do what he wants. Instead of playing in the NCAA, instead of playing for like in the U.S. American program, he goes to Zurich, which no one else typically does that, and he goes and plays because that's what he wants.
And
when it comes to the contract, he valued himself at that level, and that's what he had decided. If they wanted to go to 8 years, Dubas at the time had said it was going to cost them close to $15 million a year. That's not a Dubas thing. Matthews knew that he had all the leverage because he did, and he was going to do what he wanted, and that was it. When you have such a star talent like him, he decides. McDavid's contract was actually $13.5 million. They got wind of that contract, or maybe $13 million. They got wind of that contract, and McDavid, decided to put the contract down 12.5 because he didn't want to get as much hate. Whereas Matthews was like, no, I'm worth this. I'm getting this.
I have no problem with the 11.5. He's more than worth it. I mean, if he got paid the same as McDavid, he's more than worth it. The thing I don't like is 5 years, 8 years. But you know what? That's whatever.
But that's the same thing. That's just what I mean.
But okay, Travis Dermott, Justin Hall, Ilya Mikheyev.
Justin Hall is a fantastic contract.
He's
sucks.
Look at the way he played last year, Brandon. You're not telling me $2 million for that was not fantastic?
I'm saying how it's turning out when we're saying he's a non-option.
We're not talking about turning out. That contract was a fantastic
you're looking
contract.
at it with 2020 hindsight.
Yeah, you can't the contract that he signed was absolutely fantastic. You cannot get a right defenseman or anywhere near $2 million.
No, you're right.
You can't.
What I'm mostly mad about.
There's a reason he was protected in the draft.
I'm mostly mad about having 3 players over $11 million, and that's handicapped us the entire time, and you can't say it hasn't.
It has hurt us, yes.
But
you have point of player John Tavares.
But you saw
point of game.
But you see, John Tavares is my biggest issue because even when you signed him,
I know he is.
He is. It was great that you signed him. He's going to be great for 2 years, and he's going to not be worth
Brandon,
it.
What about off the ice? What does he bring to the team?
Yeah, wait.
Are you going to say leadership and he gets them to work hard during all the games?
Let me answer the question for you, Brandon. What happens when he didn't play in the playoffs last year?
They won 3 in a row
against the team that he should have absolutely.
But they
were 3, right?
Are you saying because they lost Tavares they didn't win? Because they won 3-0 when they went down.
I'm going to say without Tavares, it handicapped them huge. I'm going to say without Tavares, that team was not the Toronto Maple Leafs that Kyle Dubas put on the ice, and that team was not a winning team without their captain, without their leader in that.
Without John Tavares, you have a $6 million and a $5 million defenseman and another forward.
Off camera,
what are you going to get about $6 million?
Okay, put $11 million in for a super expensive defenseman, where we all knew defenseman was the problem.
I'll get you Seth Jones for $9 million. Let me know if you like that deal.
9.5, 9.25.
Oh, that's a bad deal.
9.5.
That's That's what you're paying for a defenseman these days, though.
But the thing is,
$7.5 million
9.6.
that he just got Riley for was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, that's an absolute steal. I'm mad because when you signed him,
you're mad because of one contract.
But it's $11 million contract that's handicapped us the whole way.
I don't think it's handy. Okay, listen. We've argued about this. We've argued about this off camera endless times. We will not. The three of us will not come to an agreement. No. There's just no way. But what we can look at is more recency. Tavares is with us, whether you like it or not. He's with us. He's our captain. He's there. I love the man. Whether he's $11 million, he's worth it or not. He makes the team better. There's 4 players that they picked up really in the offseason. Okay. Pasha, Camp,
This
Richie,
offseason,
Bunting.
amazing other than Richie. I have...
But and you know what? I agree. Obviously, Richie did not turn out well. But I'm glad that they picked him up on that contract.
However,
because he's what they needed. He just didn't work out.
And let's be real. Yes, like you said, Brent, it was not a good contract. It was $2.5 million for 2 years. However,
they got rid of him.
Dubas was able to realize this is not a good contract. This was not a good idea. This did not pan out. And now he's no longer a Toronto Maple Leafs player.
I have nothing. I got nothing bad to say about this year because, like you said, he's the only one I didn't like, and they got rid of him.
Yeah,
I have no problems with that.
I would like to point out I was super happy about the Richie contract. Obviously, once again, didn't work out. Whatever. I'm glad they tried it. But I gotta give credit to Chase because when they signed that contract, Chase was the one. He's like, bad deal. He nailed that one. I don't agree with him on most things,
but he nailed
that.
He nailed that.
However, he missed the nail when he said Kasha was also a waste of money and a waste of time.
He also said Bunting was going to regress too because you and I were high on him because of his shooting percentage and stuff. And that we thought...
I've been really high on Bunting since day one.
But Chase wasn't.
I
saw
his numbers last year. You weren't super high.
No, but I had high hopes. No, you weren't. But I was like, okay, maybe I'm interested. You were the highest on him. You were the highest on him.
Hope on Camp. I mean, but like to be completely honest, Bunting is doing better than what I expected him to do.
Better than everybody.
I expected him to do well, not this well.
Not this well.
I expected him to be like David Clarkson, stand in front of the net, tip it, kind of like similar to the season Kreider's having this year.
I thought he would be
30 plus goals, 20 of them are standing from tip-ins. That's what I was kind of expecting.
Dude's got hands.
And he has not at all shown us that, especially lately. He's an all-around player.
He's versatile. I thought he would be like Hyman, who I loved Hyman. He was awesome. And Bunting might not be good at what Hyman was great at, with getting the puck, being defensive, but Bunting has been more versatile than I thought, and that's what's made what I think his versatility, his ability to do a little bit of everything, is what's pushed the rest of that line to be better.
And you know what? So Bunting is like Hyman, better offensively, not as good defensively, and getting the corner stuff. But James, you've said this a bunch of times, and you're absolutely right. Without having Hyman to be the workhorse and let Marner and Matthews just kind of sit in the back, now they have to go in there, and we've seen it. Matthews has been physical.
That line is big boy. Better. It's better all rounded now.
Absolutely.
It's no longer the Zach Hyman in the corner show.
Yeah.
That line has fully developed into an offensive powerhouse.
Look
at what is happening in the last 2 months.
And there's got to be
you've got the Zach Hyman replacement is a bit more offensively minded. You have Matthews, who's more physical to make up for it, and he's scoring not just from his wrist shot position. He's getting in front of the net. He's physical. Marner has learned he can shoot the puck now. And
he's scored some pretty in-tight goals too.
Yeah,
he has scored a few close. He's just seems like Marner. It just seems like Marner's grown his confidence in his abilities.
Yeah,
huge.
All three of them huge growth this year. I can't say enough good things about that line.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: how many players on the Leafs? We'll move on here in a second. But how many players on the Leafs this year are going to have more than 20 goals?
Oh,
interesting.
How many do you? I was thinking about this the other day.
At least 5. Without looking, let me see where they're at.
That's what I mean. So I'm gonna pull up the stats. Maybe we'll circle back to this. I mean, we have Austin Matthews at 37, tied for number 1 in the league. Marner and Nylander are already 21. Past 20. They're at 21.
Yeah.
Bunting's at 19. Tavares is at 17, and then it drops off to Kasha at 11.
I think we have 5.
I think we have 5 too. I don't think
Matthews, Marner,
Bunting for sure.
Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Nylander, and then Bunting.
Now, how many 30 goal scorers do we have?
I think 2.
3. 3.
I think Marner gets to 30.
Me too.
I mean, if he keeps this pace up, yeah.
I think Marner. I'm pretty confident Marner will do it. Obviously, Matthews. He might score 60.
He's at 37.
He's
honestly, he might score 60. And I think Nylander will get his 30. I don't know about Tavares. He's at 17, and he's.
I don't think he will.
I want to talk about Tavares.
The fact that he's on a 12-game drought or something
More
like
than
that.
But
he's the last few of his games though, he's been really good, but he's just. Not
putting the points.
How do you not luck into a goal in that 17-goal Detroit game?
Morgan Riley had 0 points. Not 0 goals.
10 points,
0 points.
Yeah.
Points. No assists. 0.
Sorry about that, buddy.
0. He also had 0 in the Capitals game. He had 0 when his line mate scored in the Buffalo game.
Yeah.
He's been cold lately. He has not been the same Riley we've expected. He still has 44 points in 54 games.
Yeah.
He's still playing out of his mind, but
he's very defensively sound.
Talking about Tavares' goalless drought and how rough he's doing, I want to flip the script and go to the exact opposite and talk about the hottest player in the league, Patrick Laine.
Mitch Marner.
Actually, Mitch Marner might be up there too.
Yeah,
he is. He was ranked number 1 in February.
What? Yeah, I saw that. He got first star of the month, right?
Yeah, he got first star of the month. I think Laine got 3rd, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like he's such a fascinating player to me that I want to at least get some thoughts out there, see what you guys think about him, because he's gone through points where he's just like last year he was like almost invisible. He's a 2nd overall pick. The only pick ahead of him is the best player in the world.
Yeah.
Austin Matthews. But Patrick Laine can be just absolutely disappear when he's not scoring. It's like he's like a replacement level player, but then it's like once he gets a little sniff of the goal, he can't be stopped. He can't be stopped. So I just want to see what you guys think about him. What you thought about his year, and he's an RFA at the end of the year. What do you think that means for him in the future?
Ooh.
Columbus has openly said that they want to re-sign him.
Yeah.
Right. So I honestly don't think he's moving anywhere.
No.
But it all comes down to how much money he. Right. Like you have 45 games played last year, and 21 points. And this year he's got 35 games, 38 points.
Yeah.
Like, how is that the same player on the ice?
That's what I'm saying. That's what's so fascinating about it.
2019, 2020, 68 games played, 63 points. So just shy of a point a game. The year before that, he's 82, 50 points. Now, of those 50, 30 of them are goals. But
yeah, I remember that year.
But he was a negative 24.
Yeah, no, but listen, Ovi was a negative for years as well, and Ovi's chasing Gretzky.
Okay. Last year, 45 games played, negative 29.
Yes. That's listen,
with only 21 points.
How
much money would you throw at a guy like that? $7 million?
Well, he's making 7.5 now.
He's making 7.5 now.
Cool.
But, so here's the trick with him, though.
I wouldn't give him a penny more.
Yeah.
His qualifying offer, I think, is $7.5 million. So there's a good chance that he just goes with that again and sticks to it. And that's what's so frustrating, or what's so confusing, is like he's obviously shown years where he's put up Kerfoot kind of numbers, which obviously isn't that good.
Yeah.
But then he's put up other years where I've argued with you guys and with some other people that I think he has the potential and he has the ceiling to be a truly genuine elite player. In some ways, I think he's a better player, and I would take him over Nylander. Because he disappears sometimes and he goes nowhere, but then when he's on, he is unstoppable. He can score like no one else because he just come in off the rush and he'll still take the slap shot like Spezza does. He can take the wrister like Matthews does. He gets the one timer like Ovi does, and he can score just like it's such a hard skill to do, but at times he makes scoring look easy.
Yeah, well, this year he's shooting at over 20%.
Yeah, which isn't probably not sustainable, but
he's done it for 35 games.
But I mean sustainable like throughout career. Sorry.
Yeah, no, his career average. His career is 15.5.
Yeah, so he's so confusing though because I could see him one year be under 10, next year over 20, then go back and forth, kind of like Bobrovsky but forward.
And you know what? Like his $7.5 million makes sense. His first year he put up 36 goals.
Yeah.
His second year he put up 44, and his third year he put up 30.
35. Right? Yeah, so
it was 30 right on the nose. So and if he can do it, if he can get 10 more goals this year, which I really think he can, he's gonna have 4 30-goal seasons in 6 years.
Yeah. So which is unreal.
Good.
Yeah. So overall, I want to bring him up just because he's such an interesting. He's one of the most fascinating players in the league to me because he can be. Like, he could be in the conversation for a Rocket Richard trophy, but then he can also be a genuinely bad player where he brings your team down, being such a negative. You know?
Yeah, he can. He can go... If he could stay consistent with how hot he is, it's worth... It's worth giving a look at him. I wouldn't know because you're gambling on a guy who's going to give you
inconsistent
greatness 60% of the time.
He's kind of like, I think, in a weird way, kind of like Kessel. I love Kessel. I loved him, but he could never be the guy to rely on. If Laine is the guy, then you're doomed. But if he's like your third guy, then he can bring that extra boost. You know?
Yeah. Well, let's go from Patrick Laine. Let's talk about the trade deadline. I mean, it's coming up in 21 days, I think. It's 3 weeks exactly.
Yeah.
What do you guys think the Leafs need? Like, there's been a lot of rumblings about the Leafs getting an offensive player, right? JT Miller's name's been thrown out there a whole bunch. Yeah. Clearly, we all know and they need a defenseman of some sort. And now the question has arose in 2022, do they need goaltending, right? And so I just want to get your guys' opinion. Like, what do you guys think they need? What do you think they should go for? I mean, this conversation is going to change week by week because things are going to happen, trades are going to be made, people are going to be picked up of waivers, and it's going to change the dynamic of the team. But Brandon, what do you think? What would you like to see this team do?
Well, we mentioned it earlier about the goaltending. It seems there's not really any starters on the market at the moment.
No.
So, as much as it sucks, we might be stuck with Campbell and Mrazek, and hopefully they get out of their funk.
And that's what I think it is. I think it's a funk.
I think it's a funk. They're not this bad. They're not.
No.
Are they great? We'll see. They're both going to be over 900. I don't know what's going on. What's not helping them is how bad the defense is. Their number one priority is a right-handed defenseman, or at least a defenseman that plays on the right side.
Yes.
Because, like we said earlier, you cannot...
And someone not small.
No, someone big.
No.
Big boy. Because we cannot go in with Justin Hall and Travis Dermott in the top four.
No.
And you can't have Lyubushkin and Liljegren on your right side. You can't have both of them because that means that the other guy that you have on the right side is Brody. You need someone else.
Yeah. You can't expect to do anything with that. And now we have the added in throw-in of Jake Muzzin, who likely, I very, very, very good chance he's not coming back minimum playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, on my guess, he comes back playoffs. He'll be back in.
It would be kind of silly to bring him back before the playoffs for two reasons. One, the guy had 2 concussions in the span of 2 months. Maybe let him get some rest. And two, if you bring him back, that means no LTIR, which means they can't do what they want to do at the trade deadline. If he stays out to the playoffs, they can acquire somebody bigger at the trade deadline. Leave him out to the playoffs. Kucherov it.
I think he stays out no matter what.
Yeah. But
whether he comes back at all, but I think
that's my.
I would bet money that he does not come back before game 1.
So I'm going to say right now, the Leafs have some of the best doctors in the business. They have some of the best doctors in the country.
Yes.
They know right now whether he's going to be good for the playoffs or not. They know now.
They have a good idea.
They have a very good idea.
If questions are so confusing, right?
Exactly. But based on how he is right now, they have a very good idea of, do we need someone to replace Jake Muzzin for the playoffs? Is he going to be making first round? They know, oh crap, we might need 2 defensemen because we can't go in with a top 2 and then AHL level players.
Well, and that's the thing is, when Muzzin comes back, he's not going to be
Muzzin.
Jake Muzzin.
And he wasn't Jake Muzzin all year.
He's going to be a step below he was, I think.
But is he a step below what he was this year? Because this year he was a step below normal. So he is going to be playing like a third pairing defenseman.
And he might be. Stan Dean might need to step up and play on the second line until they get things figured out. But I really don't think you can't bring Kucherov is different.
He was ready.
He is an absolute all-star who was ready, and he can come in with 0 games played, and I think he put up one of almost the most points in the entire playoffs that year.
He did.
Yeah, he was leading for a while. Yeah.
Jake Muzzin will not be able to step on the ice and perform at the height that we expect him to.
Especially his game is a more physical, defensive game, right?
Yeah.
And he was already struggling with that beforehand. I think the concussions in age are starting to catch up with him before this concussion. They need a guy who plays a very similar game of a similar size on that team.
Yeah.
That's what they need.
Yeah. They need Zdeno Chara,
who can throw hits and can move his weight around. That's what they need.
I don't care if whoever they pick up doesn't get a single point in the playoffs.
Defense.
He just has to hurt people when they come into their own.
We have scoring. We need a stay-at-home defenseman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably 2.
Yeah.
I don't know if we need 2. Honestly, I don't think we can afford 2.
We can't.
Financially.
We can't.
That's what I mean. So you're gonna get 1, and you're gonna have to roll with the defenseman we have.
But here's the thing. So Do you sacrifice from the forward group to get a second defenseman?
They don't need to.
If I'm saying if they know now that Muzzin can't make it for round 1, do they? So then, okay, let's say you're Kyle Dubas, and you're sitting in your boring office with nothing on the walls, and you're sitting in your sweater vest, and you're sitting at your thing, and Keefe and the doctors come in like, okay, Jake Muzzin is out indefinitely until off season.
Yeah.
So you have your $5 million. Do you go in with Riley Brody, new acquired defenseman, Hall, Sandin, Labushkin? I think you have to take away from that forward group or your prospects and get another defenseman.
The only player you can move off that forward group that would make sense would be Kerfoot.
Yeah,
because he's $3.5 million.
How much?
But even Kerfoot, I don't know who you put.
How much does Mikheyev make?
165.
Oh, 165. He's cheap. Yeah, you would need to move. Foot, and you would need to either see in the next 3 weeks how Robertson is,
which he could meet there. He could.
Or you need to get another forward.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, I don't think. Honestly, I think if Muzzin's not there until the off season, I don't think you pick up any defenseman. I think if you don't have Muzzin, they're not going to win without him. They even if they have partial Muzzin, then they have a shot. If they don't have Muzzin at all, then Muzzin is a unicorn on the Leafs. They don't have a defenseman like him.
But
they need another defenseman like him. If they get a defenseman like him and he's not there, then they're not fixing the problem. They're just back at the base level.
They're doing what Montreal tried to do this year.
Yeah.
Bring in a couple guys to hopefully do the job of other guys, and
but those guys aren't good enough.
But the problem is, though, this is their best chance. After this year, the team gets progressively worse year after year.
They have a shot.
You said that last year, and this team's better this year than last year.
He found some bargain bin guys. Like, that shouldn't have worked out as good.
Why can't he do that again? That's his job. He can do it again.
Yes, but Michael, here's the problem. Now, well, actually, it might not be as bad of a problem because Campbell was potentially going to make $6-7 million. Probably not going to happen now.
Yeah, he won't even make 5. He won't even make 5.
Unless
he goes in the playoffs and dominates in the playoffs, he won't make 5. Yeah, he'll be more like 4.
Put a Stanley Cup ring on him, then he's getting 7.
Yes.
No.
Oh yeah, no, he won't even. He'd have to win that. He would have to win the Conn Smythe to get 7. There's no chance he gets 7. Yeah. Markstrom played an unreal season and got 6/6, and he was good for a while. He won't make above 5. I don't think he'll make more like 4 because
I think 4.25.
Yeah, 4.25, 4.5.
If I had to guess,
I'll guess 4.
Campbell gets 4.25.
Because there's a lot of teams desperate for a starter, so someone will pay him.
Yeah.
My thing with the Leafs and why I'm scared for next year, after this year, I think they get worse progressively. Mikheyev up, Andre Kasha up, Pierre Engvall up, Kyle Clifford don't really care about. Jason Spezza probably pay him the same amount. Labushkin up.
If he plays again.
Yes. Here are the two I'm worried about though. Sandy and Liljegren both up.
They won't be getting that much.
But they'll be making more than $890.
Yes.
They'll be making.
They won't make more than $890.
Sandy and Liljegren, they're both making $894 and $863.
But not much more.
Say they get $2 million each, or say they get $2.5 each. That's still $3 million. You have to find somewhere.
Liljegren might make money.
Yeah, Liljegren's
once again, you gotta think about it too.
But Liljegren's also a right D. Someone will pay. Someone like that. It helps.
He's an RFA.
He's
still a rookie. He's played maybe 50 games now. Maybe under 75 for sure. I love him. You know I do. But he doesn't have any.
There's nothing to stand on.
No,
exactly.
I think it does help that Campbell has teetered off a bit, but I would rather him playing good and win a cup. But yeah.
And this off season, we'll talk about the off season when the off.
I
have some ideas that I think the Leafs should do, but we will get to that.
Yeah.
In hopefully June.
Yes.
Hopefully June is when we can get to that.
Yeah, I'd like it to be June.
Yeah. yeah.
Well,
potentially
will be based on how
we
they
might
play.
not even give a shit if it's at that point. We may not care. We're like la da 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 da
da. Yeah, outscore your problems.
You're big enough. Underpaid.
Yeah. Yeah. So I like I said, we still have 3 weeks till this trade deadline.
Yeah.
A lot can still happen, and a lot better happen.
Yeah.
I'll say that. Will it? I don't
fair.
know. It better.
Do we all agree then? Their biggest thing that they need is a right shot D to put the slot into the second line.
Yes.
Yes.
Do we all agree on that? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And potentially, we'll see what happens over the next week, maybe 2. Potentially a forward, because if the Leafs do want to make a hard push this year and go far in the playoffs, that second line has to produce. Yeah. Not at the same pace the first line is right now.
And then they can.
But they need to produce like they were at the beginning of the season.
They are struggling.
And right now, over the last 10 to 15 games, that has not happened. Yeah. So I don't know if Sheldon Keefe needs to change things up, maybe throw somebody else in that lineup, or if that doesn't work, make a trade and get someone for that spot. Yep. But that line needs to change because it needs to produce if this team wants to go anywhere.
Throw Robertson up there with him. Give him a shot. Like he would benefit.
I would love to see
but
that.
Robertson benefits with playing with the top dogs more.
Yeah, which is what
top dogs is Nylander and Tavares.
Yeah, put Robertson with those two.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
Yeah,
I hope what happens.
I would like to see that.
Then, so at least we have a couple weeks still. I'm sure we're gonna see Robertson in some point in the next couple days.
Didn't he play?
Because
he played in the Buffalo
he played
game.
Against, did he? I think he played against the Wild.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, he's been in the past few games now. Actually.
Yeah.
But
they've got open room with Muzzin down, right?
Yeah. So
it's open roster spot.
So with Kasha was out, then they brought him in for him.
So I think he should play because in the next couple games we got 2 potentially easy games.
Canucks and Seattle.
We got Canucks Saturday. We got Canucks Saturday, Blue Jackets Monday, and then Seattle on Tuesday.
So we're gonna see more. We're gonna see more.
A lot of games.
Oh yeah, they're jam-packed.
You'll see both play.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to see some strong performances out of both goaltenders.
I think Mrazek plays in Saturday. I mean, sorry, Campbell plays Saturday.
Campbell plays Saturday.
Yeah,
I think so too.
Because Campbell plays Saturday and
Monday,
Tuesday.
Oh, sorry, no, it's Monday. Oh no, it's a back-to-back. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so Mrazek
will play the Monday.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that unless Campbell has a stellar game,
then you just keep him in for the first
half. If he has a stellar game, they keep him in for Saturday as well, for Monday as well.
And then play Mrazek Tuesday. Yeah, exactly. I can see that.
If he has a fantastic game, keep that going, keep that high going, keep that confidence up. You play him again.
Like I think,
if not, Mrazek plays Monday.
Yeah, I mean, I think and I hope they beat the Canucks. I think they should go 3 for 3.
They should beat all 3 teams.
But
realistically, they should.
You said it was Columbus, right? Seattle, Vancouver.
Yeah. They should beat all 3.
Yeah.
Seattle, who, man, I keep hearing about like the players on the team.
See, I thought they were going to be a mid-pack team.
They drafted terribly.
I know, but I still thought they were going to be not third last in the NHL.
He
really
did a bad job. He did a bad job, man. He did a terrible job.
Yeah.
And then you've heard like what he was asked, because I can't remember what Vegas asked for it, but like Vegas had a behind.
Vegas was kind of different with everyone.
No, but like Vegas had a thing where it's like, if you don't want us to take your player, you give us something in return.
Yeah,
and
that was changed though. Seattle wasn't allowed to.
They did do that.
No, Seattle tried that.
They said, we want a first and a third. And no one wanted to do that because, no, I'm not giving you a first.
Okay, I thought I was under the impression that they changed it to make it harder or something.
No, it was just they got greedy and dumb.
No, it was it was the other GMs didn't really know how to handle it in the Vegas draft, but Seattle draft, like, think about how many times people just roasted the GMs.
Oh yeah,
because of how bad they did for the Vegas one, right?
Yeah.
Whereas for the Seattle one, they're like, we're not going to get embarrassed by like this again. No. We're just going to accept the loss and move on. Instead of losing 2 players, we'll lose 1 player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even then, the people that were available, like they didn't take Max Domi, right? Like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but you've seen how valuable cap space is. Like they didn't do a good job, but I understand what their logic at least was.
Their best pick was McCann. Like,
don't get me started on that.
Best pick.
Yanni Gourde was a good pick too.
Yanni Gourde was a good pick, but man, that
you could have picked anybody from that team though, and it would have been a good pick. That's true. That team is just that good that it doesn't matter who you pick. They are.
Tampa's so good that they can and did give away their entire third line, and they're still the front runners to win the cup again, just because.
Yeah, because they are an absolute dominant team. Like they have the best chance of winning this year. Them or Colorado.
Colorado was good too, but this and Tampa.
I don't know. We'll talk a little bit about Colorado next year, or next week.
Time,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll bring them up. There's a couple things I want to talk about, but we'll bring that up next week. That's all I have to say for this week, guys. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's kind of wrapped everything up for us nicely.
Yeah. So I agree. I appreciate you guys having me on. It was a good time to chat some hockey.
Thanks for coming, buddy.
Of course.
We'll have you on again sometime.
Thank you. I hope so.
Yeah. So I think, James, are you good to record next Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday works.
Wednesday. So we will have this one will be up Friday. Next week we'll have it up Thursday. Maybe we'll have Michael. Maybe we won't. We'll see.
Yeah.
And
we'll see how.
Oh.
I'm giving my kids 3 tests 2 days, Wednesday, Thursday. So we'll see. We'll see how my schedule looks like.
Tell them you got other plans, man.
Super nice guy. I know. My bad.
Man, you are mean. I don't want you as my teacher.
Yeah. God. And they have an oral presentation starting next week. We're drowning them in work.
Man, you suck.
Oh my.
Yeah. Well, they get March break. They get March break the week after. They can cry about it for a week.
Yeah, but man, you suck.
Yeah. Oh well.
Anyway, guys, that's it for me. I think you guys all good.
That's it.
I'm all good.
All right. Like it, subscribe it. Check us out on Spotify. We're going to try and be a bit more on the social media, Twitter, Instagram. We got a TikTok going, so we're going to try and get all those a bit more regular. I know we've been slacking off a bit. So yeah, look for those, and talk to you guys next time.